Let us be honest, most financial advice you hear today is absolute garbage. You see people standing in front of rented private jets telling you that you need $1 million to be free. They talk about 6 figures like it as a magic spell that will suddenly turn your life into a permanent vacation. But here is the truth, they aren't telling you, probably because they want to sell you a course on how to drop ship cat toothbrushes. The most important number in your entire financial life isn't $1 million. It has not even 100,000. It has $20,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ben, 20 grand in this economy. That ass just a used Toyota, but stay with me. Because 20,000 is a psychological and mathematical event horizon. It is the first major threshold that separates the people who will spend their entire lives living paycheck to paycheck from the people who will actually build significant generational wealth. In this video, I am going to show you why hitting this specific number changes the literal physics of your world. We're going to talk about the survival brain, the Boulder Effect, and why once you hit 20K money starts hunting you down, instead of you hunting it. I'm Ben, and I spend way too much time obsessing over why some people stay stuck in the same financial patterns for decades while others seem to effortlessly glide toward wealth. If you want to stop hoping for a miracle and start understanding the actual mechanics of money, listen closely. Before we talk about the math, we have to talk about your hardware, your brain. Most people think they are bad with money because they lack willpower. That's wrong. Most people are bad with money because they are stuck in survival mode. Psychologists have studied this for decades. When you have no savings, your brain operates out of the amygdala, the part of your brain that handles fear and fight or flight responses. When you're broke, your mental bandwidth is 100 consumed by immediate threats. How do I pay rent on Monday? What if my car breaks down tomorrow? This is like trying to plan a luxury vacation while your kitchen is literally on fire. You can think about the SP 500 or real estate when you're worried about the lights being turned off. You are taking the first job offer that comes along even if the boss is a nightmare because you can afford to say no. You stay in toxic situations because leaving feels like jumping out of a plane without a parachute. Research from Vanguard found that having just 20 in a bank account increases a person's perceived financial well-being by 21. Why? Because 20 puts out the fire, but when you push that number to 20, which covers about 3 to 6 months of living for most, something miraculous happens to your prefrontal cortex. For the first time in your adult life, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. Your brain finally has the silence it needs to think about the future. You stop asking how do I survive and start asking how do I win. 20 is your parachute. It asks the moment you realize you can be easily bullied by life. Now, let us talk about the physics. Building wealth doesn't work in a straight line. It is not like a staircase where every step is the same size. It is more like pushing a massive boulder up a steep hill. In the beginning, you are doing 100 of the work. You're straining, you're sweating, and you're looking at the top of the hill thinking, this is impossible. This is where 90 of people quit. They save their first 50, see a small return in the market, and think, why bother? All that sacrifice for a few $100, I'd rather have the new iPhone. But 20 is the crest of that hill. Let us look at the math, because the math doesn't have feelings. Suppose you save 10 a month and invest it at an 8 return. To get to your first 20, it takes about 19 months. That's a long time. That's 19 months of saying no to vacations and yes to leftovers. But to get to your second 20, it only takes 17 months. You didn't work harder, you didn't get a raise. You just had your first 20, working alongside you as an employee. Your money is now a worker that never sleeps, never takes a lunch break, and never complains. By the time you reach 100, that employee is doing as much work as you are. By the time you reach 400, you can generate your next 20, in just 5 months while you're sitting on a beach. The first 20K is the hardest money you will ever make. But once you cross it, gravity starts to switch sides. You stop pushing the boulder, and the boulder starts pulling you. There is an old saying, money goes to money. People think this means their ass a conspiracy. But it is much simpler. Having 20, changes how you see the world. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every event is a threat. If your car breaks, it is a threat. If your rent goes up, it is a threat. If your boss hires a new manager, it is a threat. You are constantly playing defense. But when you have 20, those same events become choices. The car breaks, I'll just fix it. The rent goes up. Maybe I'll move to that nicer neighborhood I saw last week. And even better, you start seeing opportunities that were always there. but you were too stressed to notice. Your friend mentions a small business they raise starting that needs a 5-0 investment. When you ray broke, that asks not an opportunity, it asks a reminder of what you don't have. But with 20K in the bank, your brain starts running numbers. I could put 5K into this, still have 15K for emergencies, and potentially triple my money. Wealthy people aren't necessarily smarter, they just have options. And options are the primary ingredient in making more money. You can take a calculated risk if you can afford the risk part. This is the most important part of the entire video. The most valuable thing about saving 20-0 isn't the money itself. It asks who you had to become to get it. Unless you won the lottery, saving 20 grand requires a fundamental rewiring of your character. You had to learn delayed gratification. You had to learn to choose a future you can see over a pizza you can taste right now. You had to learn emotional regulation, staying the course when the market dips or when your friends are buying new cars they can afford. Once you have 20K, you stop trying to look rich to impress people you don't even like. Because you know you have a foundation, there's a quiet confidence that comes with having a 5-figure liquid cushion. You stop sweating the small stuff. You don't spend 20 minutes debating whether to buy a $4 coffee, because you've already won the big battles. You've proven you are the master of your money. This identity shift is what makes wealth permanent. This is why lottery winners go broke. They got the money, but they didn't get the identity. They have $1 million, but they still have a survival brain. But you, if you save 20K the hard way, you are now a wealth builder. Even if you lost it all tomorrow, you'd get it back, because you have the blueprint. So, how do you do it? How do you reach this event horizon starting at 0? Step 1 is the 2-0 sprint. Don't worry about investing yet. Just get to 2-0 as fast as humanly possible. Sell your old clothes, pick up an extra shift, stop eating at restaurants. This is your fire extinguisher. Step 2 is the boring middle. This is where you automate, set up a transfer to a high-yield savings account or an index fund the day you get paid. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left, the answer will always be 0. Step 3 is the ignore phase. Once you hit 10-0, you're going to be tempted to buy something. A car, a vacation, a watch. Don't. This is the death valley of wealth building. You're halfway to the crest of the hill. If you let go of the boulder now, it will crush you on the way down. Push until you hit 20K, then, and only then, can you breathe. Look, 20-0 isn't going to make you rich. You aren't going to be buying a private island with it. But it is the moment you stop being a victim of the economy and start being a participant in it. It is the moment you stop being the pushed and start being the pusher. The world looks very different when you aren't afraid of it. I want you to do me a favor, in the comments below, be honest. What is your current financial threshold? Are you at the 2-0 stage? Are you at the 10K death valley stage? Let us talk about it. Because once we name the goal, we can conquer it. I am Ben. Now go get that first 20. I'll see you in the next one.